Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we have some more drama to go over. Thankfully, it does not involve me this time, but it does certainly involve both Call of Duty and Battlefield, because some insane numbers have come out, and a lot of people are actually believing that Battlefield 6 has failed and that Call of Duty has already won. We also have some news to go over with Treyarch finally speaking out about even more changes that are coming to Black Ops 7, and honestly, there are some pretty good changes in there, but first things first, we've got to talk about the Call of Duty and the Battlefield drama, man. So if you want to skip ahead to what's changing in COD, there are timestamps down below, but all this drama is coming in from our friends over at Circana, which honestly, I forgot this company even exists because for some strange reason, a lot of their data and their information has not been getting shared around a lot lately, but yesterday, however, they posted this. And what we're looking at here are the weekly active users on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam for the week of October 4th through October 11th. This was honestly a pretty massive week. We were right smack dab in the middle of the Black Ops 7 beta. It was right around the time that the beta opened up for everybody, and the big one, of course, it was the week that Battlefield 6 came out. And when you first look at this, I'll admit it's pretty damning. Like, holy hell, Call of Duty lumped up Battlefield on Xbox and PlayStation. Battlefield didn't even crack the top 10 on PlayStation, for crying out loud. But the devil is always in the details here, ladies and gentlemen, because nothing about this chart is evident of anything when it comes to COD versus Battlefield, or who's going to win best-selling game, or who's going to win game of the year, or anything like that, right? At this day and age, it's so easy to throw a picture out there and just call it proof, you know, call it evidence, basically be like, look, gotcha, Battlefield's terrible, you know, but doing so does such a disservice to everybody. The important detail here, which I'm noticing everybody is completely leaving out, is right there, week ending October 11th, 2025. Battlefield 6 came out on October 10th. Not only that, but it came out around 11 a.m. on October 10th, meaning that its numbers were only being tracked for about 13 hours before they stopped tracking for that particular week. The chart isn't covering concurrent players, it covers weekly active users. This means literally anybody who signed in to play a game over the course of the full 7 days counts, right? So Battlefield 6 had 13 hours of tracking, so it's honestly a bogus comparison. Like Battlefield 6 in 13 hours versus the total number of people who signed in to play something like NBA 2K over the course of an entire week. Think about that for a second, guys. Battlefield 6, a full-priced game on Xbox, having 13 hours to compete with everybody who signed in to play free games like Warzone, Skate, Hogwarts Legacy, now it's on Game Pass, Marvel Rivals, Roblox, Fortnite, all of that for an entire week, man. It's not a one-to-one comparison. On Steam, Battlefield absolutely killed it. We've seen the player numbers on there peaking around like 750,000 concurrent players. The game's huge on Steam, for sure, and it's probably going to be equally huge on console as well once it's able to finally be tracked properly. The discourse around this has been pretty alarming, honestly. Like, the amount of people out there just being like, look, Call of Duty destroyed Battlefield, while not acknowledging that Battlefield only had 13 hours to track its players. It's just bullshit, man. And also not to mention that Call of Duty's stats in traditional Activision fashion are combining 3 games into one. You have Black Ops 6, you have free-to-play Warzone, which is obviously pretty huge, and then you have the free-to-play Black Ops 7 beta on top of that. Like, no shit, it looked really good. And the annoying part here is we are never going to truly know how Call of Duty is actually doing. We have like many little sources we can use out there and everything, but we're never going to have like the exact numbers, the exact details, because Activision wants to keep it that way. Just imagine if Battlefield could do the exact same thing, man. Imagine if any other game franchise out there could do that. Imagine if like Battlefield could combine its past 3 games together along with a free-to-play Battle Royale. Imagine if like 2K could combine all their previous ones, you know. Imagine if Battlefield actually came out on the old-gen consoles as well as compared to just Xbox Series X and PS5. That's another thing that people just aren't talking about. Like, I realize that right now I'm sounding like a straight-up Battlefield stan, but I am trying to be objective here. Call of Duty's numbers are good. I am in no way trying to deny that, but they are skewed, as are Battlefield stats, right? We are never going to know exactly how well each game is actually doing. We just have little bits here, little bits there, you know, but the proof is always in the pudding, because if Call of Duty was actually up as good as people are saying it is, then the developers would not be out here making so many changes and basically begging players to buy the game, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out what Treyarch has officially said today in regards to Black Ops 7. So in case you guys missed it, today they posted another one of those dev talk videos over on Twitter. It's about 4 minutes long, and it's Matt Scrons of Treyarch sitting down and answering questions. And to save us all some time here, I'm just going to give you all the highlights and the cliff notes of what's actually changing within the game. First things first, movement has been changed. From the launch of Black Ops 7, we will now be able to aim down sights while jumping, and sliding by default without the need to use the dexterity perk. Dexterity will still be in the game. It's going to make all those things a little bit better, but they all will be baseline on your character within Black Ops 7. And on top of that, they also nerfed sliding slightly, so we're not going to be able to slide nearly as far as we once did during the beta, and they also made it so we can mantle over objects faster. Now from there, they changed a number of perks in the game, and the biggest changes would be taking perks that were kind of like relatively useless on their own and then just combining them together. And Treyarch used to do this way back in the day, if you guys remember this. Back in Call of Duty World at War, there were so many useless perks, man. There were so many perks that just did absolutely nothing on their own, and then in Black Ops 1, they took a lot of those useless perks and kind of made them better. A good example was, back in World at War, you had things like Flak Jacket, which was terrible. You had Fireproof, which was also terrible. You had Throwback, which was also terrible, and they were all perk 2s as well, so nobody was ever even going to try to use them because we had Stopping Power and Jug. So in Black Ops 1, they took the effects of Flak Jacket, Fireproof, as well as Throwback, and they baked them all together into a new Flak Jacket and made it a perk 1. They're doing something similar here in Black Ops 7, so things like Tracker and Hunter's Instinct, which are okay on their own, are now being combined. Shadow and Engineer are now one perk, Bruiser and Close Shave are now one perk. Honestly, I think it's a pretty good change. Like, more killer, less filler, stronger perks, and a focus on balancing your class and still giving players the ability to make meaningful choices when making their classes. Honestly, it sounds pretty good. Like, good job, Treyarch. It doesn't seem like they actually held this back from, like, Black Ops 6 or anything. Like, a lot of the selling points for Black Ops 7 are just things that could have been in Black Ops 6, but they chose not to do it. I really don't see this as an example of that. It really just genuinely seems like a good change that is going to make the game feel objectively better. Now from there, something that's not going to make the game feel better is they made footstep audio a little bit louder by default. I'm not so sure about that one. And then from there, they're going to be changing aim assist. And this is honestly going to get a lot of people pretty damn upset. So basically what they say from their data, their precious data, they found that controller players were winning too much up close versus keyboard and mouse players, and then keyboard and mouse players were winning a lot more when they were further away. So what they decided to do is they're going to make it so aim assist is a bit weaker, and they're going to try and balance things out a little bit more, where mouse and keyboard players can compete up close, although they're not doing anything, I suppose, to make it so controller players have a better chance at further distances. So it's like a nerf to controller, but kind of like a buff to keyboard and mouse as well. And not only will this be in Black Ops 7, but it's also going to be coming to Warzone. Now, I know that aim assist has always been like a really hot button issue within the community for like a number of years now. Mostly it's keyboard and mouse players complaining about it. Like, there's a few people I follow, I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but I think you guys know who I'm talking about, who play keyboard mouse. They insist on keyboard mouse. They say how OP and broken controllers are, yet they just refuse to just play with the controller, I suppose. I guess they want that variety. I definitely can see that mindset. Like, if they want to play with their preferred input, they should be able to do that, right? And not feel so restricted while they're doing it. But I don't think there's any denying whatsoever that aim assist now is way stronger than it used to be. You need to only boot up an old game. Like, pick your favorite. COD 4, World at War, MW2, MW3, Black Ops 2, does not matter. Pick up one of those games, use a controller, and you're going to immediately notice the difference in aim assist and how it felt back then versus how it feels right now. I feel like the issue itself is pretty multifaceted, honestly. Like, for starters, you are going to need to have more aim assist in the game if you're pitting controller players versus keyboard mouse players. It really is that simple. Like, the accuracy of that input is so much better compared to the jankiness of joysticks, and that's not an opinion. That is just a straight up fact. Like, mouse is a much more precise input. On top of that, I feel like they also increased aim assist because it ties into the whole, even the playing field narrative and mindset that they've had for the past couple of years. Good players are always going to be good, no matter what. The aim assist isn't really going to suddenly make them gods or anything like that, but for the lower skill players, maybe more of the average players, aim assist was definitely helping them out a lot more, helping them with tracking, helping them with locking on. It does definitely help out the weaker skilled players, and that's where we get that phrase, the game was the aiming for you that everyone always says and everything. Just aim assist is objectively pretty damn strong right now, and they're going to be nerfing it going into Black Ops 7. For me personally, I've always played COD with a controller. It just doesn't feel natural to me like any other way. Like, people often ask me like what my setup is like, and it's just a normal Xbox controller, man. Like, that's it. I bought it at Walmart once the one that came with my console, ended up getting a bunch of stick drift, right? I don't use a SCUP, I don't use Control Freaks, I don't use gamer gloves or gunner optics or back paddles or a Cronus or any of that bullshit. I just use a normal Xbox One controller. That's it. Or maybe now it's called a Series X controller. I don't know. They're all basically the same thing. I have 18 plus years of muscle memory in the Call of Duty franchise with a controller, so to relearn everything by playing keyboard and mouse just really doesn't make any sense for me. I do like the input for other games, things like Overwatch, Borderlands, maybe single player stuff like Fallout. That's all keyboard and mouse, but old habits die hard. If I'm playing Battlefield, it's with a controller. If I'm playing Madden, it's with a controller. And if I'm playing COD, it's also going to be with a controller. It will be interesting, however, to see how this change affects the community and people's reaction to Black Ops 7. I want to put it out there one more time that we do not trust Activision at all, and we will see how the matchmaking actually feels at the launch of the game, but for the sake of argument, let's make up a scenario here, right? Say that Black Ops 7 has no skill-based matchmaking whatsoever. Let's say it's exactly like the good old days, right? Then on top of that, they nerf aim assist assist quite a bit. Well, the end result might end up being something similar to what happened with X-Defiant. A lot of people got exposed when X-Defiant came out, man, because there was no manipulative matchmaking, the movement wasn't all that cracked out, the maps were fantastic, the weapons felt really good, and aim assist was incredibly weak. It was nothing like what we see in the Call of Duty franchise. So if you did not do well in X-Defiant, which RIP that game, by the way, it was solely on you, right? And I feel like the same thing was true of the Black Ops 7 beta. I have heard all sorts of conflicting reports, tons of people coming out saying that there was absolutely skill-based matchmaking in the beta. When they said they removed it, no, they didn't. It was still there. It was crazy. It was cracked out. It was whatever. I can only speak for myself, and from my own personal experience, is it felt night and day different. I'm not trying to call anybody out here directly, but in my heart of hearts, I genuinely feel like if you were not doing well during the Black Ops 7 beta after the matchmaking changes, you may have been one of those people who were benefiting from skill-based matchmaking all these years. And I'm not trying to poke fun at you. I'm not trying to laugh at you or nothing. I don't blame any of those people. I don't blame anybody who went through sort of a system shock because they have been lied to and manipulated by Activision for over half a decade now. It's not those players' fault, you know? So nobody right now truly knows where they stand anymore. Like all these years, we've been stuck in our own little brackets playing exact clones of ourselves over and over and over. So it's incredibly difficult to understand right now where you are as a player versus like the average player out there. Like Battlefield 6 has been such a system shock for me because I see these people in there. There's no skill-based matchmaking, obviously, and I see these people and I watch them. Like maybe I'm dead, I'm laying on the ground or whatever, and I'm watching my teammates, or I'm like spectating somebody trying to spawn in. Holy hell, people are terrible. Like they're really bad. And again, I'm not poking fun. It's just that I haven't seen these people in forever. I forgot there were people like that because I've only been playing NerosCinema A, NerosCinema B, NerosCinema C, NerosCinema D, all over there on the other team, right? Every single game of every single COD, every single year. So if they truly do get rid of skill-based matchmaking, it's going to be like this hard reset on the entire COD community, and it's going to be really interesting to see how all of it feels. But again, we still don't trust Activision. We're going to have to wait to see what the game feels like at launch, and I'm sure Activision has plenty of surprises up their sleeves for the community. All we know for sure right now is they are continuing to change a lot of things about the game, and it's certainly going to be a very interesting couple of weeks as Battlefield 6 continues on, and then of course the launch of Black Ops 7 is eventually going to happen. So as always, I'll be here to guys every step of the way, but for right now, I'm going to wrap this video up here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback on all of today's news down there in the comments. Be sure to sub to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for listening, and until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.